Folks, on May 3rd, a Black Pittsburgh lawyer and former NFL player says he was arrested, dragged into an Allegheny County courtroom in shackles, given 15 minutes to negotiate a civil lawsuit to regain his freedom. When Walter Bernard did not comply with the judge's wishes, he was arrested again and forced to appear in court to argue the same civil case on August 9th, and this time stayed in jail for nearly 3 weeks. Bernard has filed a federal lawsuit against Allegheny County Common Pleas Court Judge Philip Ignelzi for multiple civil rights violations. Walter Bernard joins us right now from Pittsburgh. Glad to have you here. So, what the hell? Well, first of all, what was the civil case?
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background, the case was about my brother, who's also my business partner. We had opened an escape room, and escape room was like a place where families could come enjoy different activities for the weekend. We did corporate events. We were very active in the community. The way that our business ran, it was designed where it required certain automation. So we needed a minimum of 4 people to operate the different activities. COVID happened, and when COVID happened, we were shut down. The governor governor of Pennsylvania put in a mandate that required businesses to not operate. If we were to operate, we would be fined $10,000, I believe. And there was a clause in our lease agreement. A lot of attorneys refer to it as a force majeure clause. The clause allowed us to abate the rent. Abate the rent just means we weren't required to pay the rent as long as we were shut down. So we desired to exercise that clause. The landlord said he wasn't going to recognize that clause, and he threatened that he was going to sue us, which he ultimately did. He said, you have 2 options. You can either continue paying the rent, even though you're shut down, or you're going to terminate the lease. At that point, we went and we sought a commercial real estate attorney, and he argued that the ability to operate our business, it was impossible because we were shut down. So landlord goes and he says, all right, well, does that mean you're going to terminate the lease? Our landlord sent, our attorney at the time sent the landlord a notice and said, because you're not going to basically exercise or follow and adhere to the terms of the lease, we're just going to, we want to terminate it. We never heard back from the landlord. Next thing we know, we get filed a lawsuit for possession of the premises and for money damages. The lease
how much were they trying to recoup?
They were trying to recoup $100,000 because the lease contained an acceleration clause.
Okay, but what I'm confused by is, how does a judge order you to settle a suit and then have you arrested in shackles in a civil case? I've never heard of a judge doing this in a civil case.
Yeah, so that's puzzling a lot of experts. What ultimately happened is they sued us for an acceleration. The lease also contained an acceleration clause. So the original judge of the case says $100,000 for the plaintiff landlord. And with that being said, he also stated that we were to be credited because the reason why we vacated the premises was because while we were shut down, the landlord came and stole thousands of dollars of our items. He came in and stole from us.
I understand in terms of, you know, the ups and downs of it, but here's what I'm trying to understand. First of all, was there an ongoing trial?
There was not an ongoing trial.
It was just a lawsuit.
Yes, it was a lawsuit. What happened was the judge Ignelzi, he was not the original judge of the case. The original judge of the case said, "I retain exclusive jurisdiction of the case," meaning he oversees all matters of the case.
Right.
There were still underlying issues that need to be settled, and Ignelzi jumps in as another judge, and he listens to the.
Wait. So one judge is assigned this case.
Correct.
And y'all were dealing with that judge.
Correct.
Then all of a sudden, this dude jumps in and then orders you, like literally, did he send sheriff's deputies to come get you? Where were you? Were you arrested? What happened?
Yes. So he jumps in the case. He says that he jumps in the case when this matter was actually before the appellate court, and he did not have jurisdiction. It was appealed, this matter. And so what happens when a case is appealed, it takes away jurisdiction from the trial court.
Yeah, I mean, when the case is appealed, it's down at the appellate court.
Right.
So this dude jumps in. And I'm trying to understand. Where were you? Did they come and arrest you somewhere? Where were you?
Right. So I was in my home, and
was this weekday weekend? Weekday weekend?
This was May 3rd, I believe was I believe it was a Wednesday.
Okay, so you at the house, all of a sudden, what? Sheriff's deputies show up saying, "We got an arrest warrant for you"?
No. They knocked on my door, would continue to knock. I have dogs. The dogs started going crazy, and they were relentless. They were talking to neighbors. It wasn't until they called me on the phone. A detective leaves a message on my voicemail, which I still have, and he says, "You need to come to the door. You're not in trouble. The sheriff just wants to see you, but if you don't come to the door," he said, "that the situation is going to get worse."
Okay, so wait a minute, hold up. So do they eventually arrest you?
Yes, they arrest me under the legal definition of arrest. I was not free to go anywhere.
Right. But what I'm saying is, but what happened? How did you get in the shackles and then go into the courtroom? How did that happen?
I was required to get into the sheriff's vehicle.
Got it.
They drive me down to the courthouse.
Got it.
And they throw me in a holding cell, and I was required to. I couldn't get out of the holding cell.
Right.
And then when I was summoned by the judge, that's when they shackled me and brought me before the judge while wearing shackles.
So, and you go before the judge, and the judge tells you you got 15 minutes to settle this lawsuit, or I'm going to keep you in jail.
Yeah. So what he said was he had previously put in an order, and the order, if you look at the plain language of the order, it actually did not require us to do anything. So when I first walked into the courtroom, he asked me, he says, "Why did you disobey my order?" I said, "I did not disobey your order." So he said, "All right, here's what we're going to do." He says, "You have 15 minutes or less." He says, "You're either going to settle this case." That's option one. He said, option two is the financial documents, your personal brokerage accounts, federal tax returns. You're going to turn those over, and you have to make the decision in 15 minutes. And if you don't, I'm going to finish processing you in jail. You're going to get fingerprinted, and you're not going to get out until you comply. And what then happens? And you spend 3 weeks in jail. No. So this was the first time. So what ends up happening is he goes back to his chambers. I call him back and I say, my client is not here, so I can't do option one because there's a dispute currently as to the numbers. And I said, under the professional ethic rules, I cannot accept a settlement without even speaking to my client. We had no idea that this hearing was going on. You gave me no notice, no opportunity. You pulled me out of the house, so I can't choose option one. Then he says, go ahead.
Here's what I'm trying to understand. What I'm trying to understand is, one, have you filed a complaint, a judicial complaint against this judge for overstepping his bounds? Two, did the judge who was overseeing the case, has he said anything about this guy stepping in and just assuming control of this?
So that's your question. Yes, there was a grievance filed by myself against the judge.
Got it.
He also filed one against me, and the original judge did not step in. What ended up happening the rest of the day is I said I have to pick option two, and he gave me interrogatories, which are formal legal questions provided by opposing counsel. Opposing counsel starts asking me questions. When I try to object, the judge threatens me. You're not allowed to object. If you continue to object, I'm going to put you in jail. So I'm answering these questions under duress. I don't have documents. He's asking me about stuff that I felt.
And questions persist, and you eventually get put in jail. So
no. So he lets me go, but he tells me that I have 10 days to produce the documents.
Okay, so this happened in May. This happened in May.
Yes.
Okay, this happened in May. All right, so you file a lawsuit. Okay, where does the case end? First of all, has the appellate court ruled on this case?
So what ended up happening is the appellate court ended up quashing the appeal. They never end up ruling on the matter that was on appeal. However, while it was on appeal, he issues a contempt order against me.
Wow.
When he didn't have. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Wow. I mean, I'm just trying to understand. I've never heard of a case waiting an appellate decision and the judge stepping in here. I got about 60 seconds left. I got to ask you this question here. All right, so you filed a lawsuit. You filed it against this judge?
Yes, I filed it against this judge. But while the lawsuit was pending, he comes back when I'm at a hearing in August the 9th. I'm at a hearing and he causes me to be arrested. And then he leaves me in jail for 21 days. And I had no ability to get out. In Pennsylvania, when you're picked up on a warrant, such as I was picked up on, you have 72 hours to get released. He refused to hear my case within 72 hours and left me incarcerated. We tried to file an emergency motion to get me out based on my civil rights being violated under the 72-hour rule. And he refused. I wrote a check while being shackled in court on August the 21st. And after writing a check just to try to settle the case, it remained in jail for another week. And that's after we settled the case.
That is absolutely crazy. Well, hopefully you will get some recourse in this absolutely crazy case. I've never heard of a judge, again, having somebody brought in and then they're shackled in order. You got 15 minutes to settle a civil suit. That's just absolutely crazy. So let us know what happens next.
All right, thank you.
That is, but this goes to show you, Lauren, again, the crazy legal system we have. And for all those people out there, Lauren, who say judges don't matter.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. Obviously, judges do matter. There's some antebellum South stuff, but it's not in the South. It's in Allegheny County in Pennsylvania. I don't understand how this hasn't been dealt with already. Obviously, it's almost like it was kidnapping or something. It's sort of a strange situation. Anytime you talk about shackles as somebody with a nonviolent offense, and in this case, a civil litigation moment, it makes no sense. It sounds like the judge has some sort of had some sort of attitude of, I'm going to show this guy, I'm going to show you, who's in charge here, and obviously overstepped his authority.
The thing I tell people all the time, Reese, is understand judges have significant power. I mean, look at the judge. Remember the woman in Philadelphia in the Meat Meal case, the decision that she made? And so again, it trips me out when I hear these people who say, oh man, these judges that abide in that point, that shit don't mean nothing. I'm like, you out your damn mind.
Right. And this judge.
And this is not a federal judge, but whether you're a federal judge, a state judge, or a local judge, judges have power, and they can abuse that power.
Well, that's the key point, is the abuse of power. I mean, he wasn't vested this power, but he was able to weaponize the appearance of having power to get the police to do what he wants to do, to get the prisons and the jails to go along with what seems to me to be false imprisonment and, like Lauren said, kidnapping. And I would add extortion, okay? When you are basically doing the bidding of a business owner to extort money, tens of thousands of dollars, out of a person under duress. This is absolutely an outrage and disgusting. And unfortunately, this person, without any other recourse, is on the bench until 2030. And so it absolutely does matter who you put on the bench. It matters who you elect, who will appoint judges in cases where judges are appointed. And so this is just another one of those issues. And the fact that this is civil and it's turning into a carceral situation for an attorney, throw respectability politics out the window. There's no profession, there's no socioeconomic class that can shield you from being Black and from white power being weaponized against you.
Look, we see what happens here, and again, you can be an attorney, Greg. It don't matter when one of these judges get a bug up their asses. And keep in mind, was it in? I'm trying to remember. Was it Connecticut or was it Pennsylvania, where you had that judge who was in cahoots and he got a whole lot of money and he was throwing Black kids in that private prison? Again, This is why I keep trying to warn people. Stop sitting here saying that these judicial races don't matter. They don't matter until one of your family member get in trouble.
That's exactly right. And as Reese said, he's on the bench till 2030. It's an elected position. I don't know who this guy Ignelzi is. I don't know what his record is. I know he practiced many years in the courts there in Western Pennsylvania. But, it's very important. I mean, there are a couple of things. I mean, first of all, if this is for any law student who's taking professional responsibility in law school, or any lawyer will tell you this has the potential not even to be over with this foolishness, because this boy then filed a lawsuit. Not a lawsuit. He's filed a complaint with the Pennsylvania Disciplinary Board against Brother Bernard. That might interfere with his ability to practice law. Now, Bernard, of course, has filed a complaint with the Pennsylvania Judicial Conduct Board against Ignelzi. But as you asked him, Roland, this becomes very curious because, Judge Hertzberg, the original judge, the judge who was on the case who said he exercised exclusive jurisdiction, ain't opened his mouth yet. Now, both those investigations are ongoing, but it reinforces another point that needs to be made. Just like there's a blue wall among the bounty hunters that we call the police, there's a black road wall among judges.
Yep.
So you have to be real careful. I mean, y'all gonna back this boy on this? But I tell you what, if he prevails on it, watch how it flips very quickly. And finally, this man wrote an $80,000 check and still went to jail. I ain't got $80,000 to write a check for. Now, I can't even imagine what that felt like. Because at the end of the day, if you get in the grips of one of these people like this and the system is not going to back you, this guy clearly thinks he can get away wherever the hell he wants to get away with. And that becomes a system that when we turn on it and people want to know why, you can pull this case up and add it to the litany of abuses.